Am I live? Hope so. I hope everyone can hear me. If there's any echoing, also please tell me. Okay, so before I start, let me just update a bit. Thank you to all who subscribed. I know like most of you are my friends and families. I still appreciate it very much. So I'm sorry that this time there is none of my face. It's because it's already night. I don't feel particularly pretty, and also I'm just lazy. And it should have been cleaning day for me, but I half-assed it, so only some parts of my place is clean. My bed's still a mess, so you know, lols. Anyways. Yeah, okay, so I do have some video ideas coming up, which mostly just involves me talking in front of the camera. Sorry if that's boring to everyone. I also had recorded some gameplay, but I don't think that's like stuff people would want to watch, but I have fun doing it anyway, so I just need to edit that. But those footage always takes so long to edit, so you know. Okay, so yeah, I'll get to the recording those videos when I feel particularly pretty and have time. Like I usually do it after my lectures, because I'm already dressed up to begin with, so I just need to put on a little bit of more makeup or something. You know. But yeah, that's about it. Okay, so if you watch my research project video, then you'll know that my supervisor gave me 8 papers to read, and it's already Sunday night, and like I barely got through one. So I need to read it in front of you guys, so I actually have motivation to read it, because it's actually better if I read it out loud. And I don't know why I feel like I should, because there are a lot of words and you guys just have to listen to me talk. Like this one, it has, hold on, I don't know how much, 894 to 903, so like 9 pages. That's one paper, and then the other paper has like hold on 260 to 268, so like another 9 pages. But we'll get through this together. I believe in myself, and you. Yeah, oh wait, hold on, that's 11 and 10. Yeah, I fail at math, whatever. Okay, anyways, so let's start with the first paper. Okay. Oh, also the papers are in the description if you want to check it out. I think this first paper is available if you go for Google Scholar. The second one, I'm not so sure, but I know there are ways to get papers just by getting a STUI. I'm not going to tell you that. Don't want to endorse it. Like yeah, I'm not gonna tell you that. not yet. Okay, anyways, interpreting gaze in Turner syndrome, impaired sensitivity to intention and emotion, but preservation of social cueing. There's a lot of authors here. You can check it out in the description. Abstract: women with Turner syndrome who lack a complete X chromosome show an impairment in remembering faces and in classifying fear in face images. Could their difficulties extend to the processing of gaze? 3 tasks, all of which rely on the ability to make use of the eye region of a pictured face, are reported. Women with TS is Turner syndrome, were impaired at judging mental state from images of the upper face, reading the mind in the eyes. They were also specifically impaired at interpreting fear from displays of the eye region of the face. However, they showed normal susceptibility to direction of gaze as an attentional cue, social cueing, since they were as sensitive as controls to the validity of the cue under conditions where it should be ignored. I don't really understand that part. In this task, unlike those of reading the upper face for intention or expression, PIQ, what's PIQ? Did I miss it somewhere? Anyways, accounted for a significant amount of individual variance in task performance. The processing of displays of the eye region affording social and affective information is specifically affected in TS. We speculate that amygdala dysfunction is likely to be implicated in this anomalous behavior. The presence in the female karyotype of 2 complete X chromosomes is protective for some socio-cognitive abilities related to the modulation of behavior by the interpretation of gaze. 1. Introduction. Turner syndrome is a sporadic disorder of human females in which all part of one X chromosome is deleted. Such individuals are phenotypically female, but they have short stature and, in the absence of normal ovarian development, fail to develop secondary sexual characteristics. Growth hormone treatment is often administered during childhood, and estrogen replacement therapy is given routinely in adolescence. Verbal intelligence in TS is typically normal, and although visuospatial skills may often be poor, there is no increased risk of general mental retardation. While their social development does not cause comment in a recent clinical review of the syndrome, there are nevertheless reports that adult women with Turner syndrome may have problems forming and maintaining peer relationships and difficulties interpreting nonverbal communication. Some researchers report that the condition can be associated with psychosocial difficulties, immaturity, and poor self-concept. Self-concept? Does that relate to theory of mind? I think so. Probably. It is a developmental disorder. Anyways, we have recently reported that such difficulties can also be demonstrated in laboratory tasks. Women with TS can be impaired at recognizing faces and identifying facial expressions of emotion, especially the classification of fear in faces. Moreover, in our clinical interviews with parents of children and adolescents with TS, we observed that girls and women with TS rarely engaged gaze with the interviewer and sometimes did not glance at a caregiver entering the room. This pattern of behaviors, lowered levels of face recognition, impaired processing of fear in faces, and anecdotal observations of deficient eye contact in social encounters are reminiscent of similar behaviors reported in people with autism. A further well-established finding in autism research is defective ability in perceptual processing of the eye region of faces. So basically, they're just saying what Turner syndrome is, which is how females have the XX chromosome and what male has the XY chromosome. If females with Turner syndrome have their second X chromosome completely deleted, apparently I have previously thought only half. Oh, it did say all or part. Never mind. It's like the all or part of their X chromosome deleted. And then they also have poor visual and spatial skills. So it's hard to see. And then they also have problems with interacting with and which is pretty much similar to autism. Yeah, that's basically all of it. Anyways, the aim of the present study was to explore the extent to which women with DS may show anomalies in the processing of eye regions of the face in order to derive information about people's intentions and emotion. 3 tasks are reported. The first required The first required the interpretation, classification of intention. Wait, hold on, did I read that right? Okay, the first required the interpretation and classification of intention from photographs of the upper face. An important component in the development of social cognition is the development of the ability to understand that facial actions, including gaze, afford a glimpse into the intentions of others. One aspect of this, which is well developed in normal adults but defective in people with autistic spectrum disorder, is the ability to ascribe a range of mental and intentional states to images of the eye regions of faces. To read the mind in the eyes. Aremi Tas, Baron Cohen et al. So I think the first task is just to look at a bunch of pictures of faces, and then try to interpret and classify what those faces want to do, I guess. So yeah, the second task was of classification of emotional expression from the upper part of the face. Unlike the RME task, which requires sophisticated verbal understanding of terms such as flirtatious, uninterested, the verbal level labels. Sorry, you can hear me say blah. I do that a lot, by the way. The verbal labels for the 6 universal emotions of happiness, fear, sadness, anger, disgust, and surprise are readily understood and applied to faces from childhood onwards. What? Classification of emotional expression. What did you do? Oh, okay. So I think it's just an extension of the first task. So the first task, you have to classify intention, like what do you think they want to do, and the second is like what do you think they feel. Final task tested whether viewing the direction of eyes in a face cued the allocation of attention in the perceiver to a particular location. On the basis of reports of people with autism who can show deficits on tasks like this, we predicted that women with DS may also show anomalies on all these eye-reading tasks when compared with women of normal karyotype. Whether viewing the direction of eyes in a face. I think this is just a task for the experimenters, I think, because you just need to see the direction of the person's eyes, the participant's eyes, I guess. Anyways, okay. 2. Experiment 1. Reading the mind in the eyes. 2.1. Introduction. The ability to respond differentially to patterns of gaze can be demonstrated in early infancy. The ability to infer the mental state and intention of others from the disposition of their eyes develops from infancy onwards, probably making use a number of developing skills, including the ability to determine line of sight accurately, and the ability to interpret the emotion of the person looked at. While well developed in normal adults, this skill is defective in people with autism spectrum disorder who have difficulty in reading the mind in the eyes. To be able to read a mind state from the eyes, it is necessary to associate distinct configurations of the iris, sclera, and surrounding eye and brow region, which give information both about where someone is looking and how they are feeling, with awareness of particular intentional states in others. In test conditions, it is also necessary to be able to choose an appropriate verbal label for the mind state portrayed. Responder. Okay, I think that's pretty self-explanatory, I think. But if you don't think so, can just drop me a question in the chat, which should be somewhere below or next to the video. Okay, anyway. Both face processing and expression classification deficits have been demonstrated in women with DS. Thus, this experiment investigated whether their difficulties with face reading extended to the reading the mind in the eye task. Okay, the experimental hypothesis was that they might resemble people with autism and show a deficit in choosing the correct intentional state label for photograph display of the eye region of face. So, yeah. They don't have... Okay. Anyway, methods, participants, and procedure. 43 women with Turner syndrome. 45 X complete deletion of one X chromosome were recruited through the Child Growth Foundation and a specialist clinic at the Middlesex Hospital. They were aged between 18 and 36 years. This is in UK, by the way, and were excluded if they had verbal IQ lower than 70 or if they had other known neurological or psychiatric disease. The experimental and control groups were matched on a group basis by age and VIQ, which is verbal IQ. 35 female volunteers aged between 19 and 35 years were recruited from the Great Ormond Street Hospital, the Institute of Child Health, and University College London. Although there are 8 more women in the TS group, the difference in group size, approximately 20%, does not invalidate the assumptions for analysis. Participants were excluded if they had known neurological or psychiatric disorder, or if they had lived in the UK for less than 3 years. Participant characteristics are summarized in Table 1, which you can't see, and I don't really know how to explain this table because this is a stats table. Stats. I mean, I get why psychology needs stats, but stats! All participants were shown 36 grayscale pictures of eye regions of the face, in addition to one practice trial. For each item, they were asked to choose the word that best described what the person in the picture was thinking or feeling. Each picture was shown with 4 descriptive labels. Definition of these labels were also provided in a handout and as an extra support for participants. What? Hold on, I'm just looking at the pictures here. Because they said each picture has 4 descriptive labels, but in this figure it does not have any labels. Oh, it does. Okay. It does have labels. So what it is like, you have a picture and then like there's 4 labels of like possible answers. So like, let's say you have a person kind of gazing kind of menacingly, is how I think it is, in the camera. So then you have, is this person shy, alarmed, hostile, or anxious? Which to me looks kind of hostile, but I don't know. Anyways, so results. Confirming the group matching criteria, there was no significant difference in age or VIQ between the groups. So it means that age and verbal IQ doesn't really matter. I mean, there's not any like significant results that causes it to differ. I don't know. Performance on the RME task, reading of the mind-eye task, was analyzed using analysis of covariance. Okay, hold on. This is just a bunch of stat. So let me try to simplify it. There was significant I don't understand. You guys don't know. I still suck at it. But hold on. Women with PS were significantly worse at this task than control women. Is it the PIQ? What's PIQ again? Did they ever say what's PIQ? I don't think so. So if IQ is IQ, what's P? What's a WAIS? Verbal IQ? Huh? Like, okay, hold on. PIQ. I don't know. The deficit in reading the mind in the eyes does not appear to be associated with I swear, I don't know. What is PIQ? Should I do a quick Google? I don't think Google would know what's a PIQ. It feels very, PIQ. What is a PIQ? Yeah. Performance Intelligence Quotient. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Kind of. So, sorry, I kind of burped. I'm sorry, I don't like that. PIQ is a score resulting from a test that assesses your child's mental capacity in dealing with non-verbal skills. Okay. So if verbal IQ is to test your verbal IQ with like verbal tasks, this is for non-verbal tasks. That's it. Anyways, discussion. Women with DS were relatively impaired at reading the mind in the eyes compared with a sample of control women. The experimental group also had low PIQ scores. However, PIQ did not account for variance in performance on the RME test. Women are generally better at this task than men, yet women with TS showed a marked deficit compared with control women. So does that mean that they're still better than men? at doing PIQ or like why do they have hold on, let's just read more. The mean and standard deviation of the clinical group were somewhat lower than those of male adult samples in Baron Cohen et al. Study. But okay, let's say that I don't know when Baron Cohen's paper was. This paper was in 2002. This one doesn't say when is Baron Cohen paper. Hold on, 1997. So there's like a 5-year difference. I don't know if much would change. But okay. So anyways, that answers my question. That which is yes, TS show relatively lower PIQ performance than control women and men. Okay. In this study, the mean accuracy for the TS group was okay. This is more stats. Since the groups were matched for VIQ, it seems hold on. Okay, now I have to say it. Okay, it's actually very simple. In this study, the mean accuracy for a TS group was 68.2% with an SD of 12.2%, while in Baron Cohen study, mean accuracy over 2 samples of male participant was 74%. Females in Baron Cohen study had mean accuracy of 76.4%, which was comparable to that of women of normal karyotype in the present study, where mean accuracy was 77.9%. Since the groups were matched for VIQ, it seems unlikely that verbal difficulties in general terms accounted for these difficulties. Guys, oh my god, there's still so much to read. Do I really need to read all of this? I'm so lazy. Okay. For example, VIQ was not significantly correlated with performance on this task in either group. Nevertheless, many of the labels for intentional states required fairly sophisticated verbal abilities with knowledge of some relatively rare words, and for this reason, Baron Cohen include a glossary to be used to clarify the terms when needed. Some aspects of verbal skill can be anomalous in women with TS, in particular when executive skills need to be engaged to produce or process verbal categories. It is possible, therefore, that this may have accounted for their difficulties in matching words related to intention to the various upper face displays. In the next experiment, upper face displays of post-facial expressions were categorized using simple expression labels. If there is a deficit in facial expression classification from the upper face, this would suggest that poor performance on RME in women with TS reflects a generalized difficulty in the interpretation of this region of the face, and not a difficulty in making use of relatively sophisticated verbal labels for facial intentions. Sorry guys, I don't know what that means. Hold on. I have to go over that again. I don't know how I'm gonna meet my supervisor like this. Oh my gosh. Can I just read the discussion? I mean, you kids can read this on your own, right? I don't know. Like, why do you... Honestly, why would anyone want to watch? Because I'm just, like, reading stuff. It's not even, like, in an ASMR, because I don't really have, like, the really good mic. I only have a noise-reducing mic, which I don't know if it is even noise-reducing, because I think you still would hear some of the... whatever. Anyways, how about we just read the introduction and the conclusion for this paper? Okay, how about that? Yeah? So 4.6 general discussion. I'm sorry guys, this is why I can't excel in anything. It's because I'm lazy. Yeah, this sucks. It sucks that I'm lazy, but you know, I'm lazy to fix that. Anyways, The motivation for these studies was the clinical observation that women with TS appeared to avoid gaze, and the experimental finding that they showed some anomalies in processing images of the face. The experimental hypothesis was that, like people with autism, women with TS might have specific difficulties interpreting actions of the eye region of the face. Although no women in this sample fitted the diagnostic criteria for autism, nevertheless, their skills at reading the mind from the eyes were in range of those of a tested adult sample with high IQ and autistic spectrum disorder. Okay. So they might not have autism, but they still display a similar, they don't have all the diagnosis of autism, but they still have the same skills as an autistic person would. Okay, the classification of expression from the upper face, especially for expressions of fear from faces, was also significantly impaired in women with TS, who also differed from controls in PIQ. However, PIQ did not account for the variance in performance on either of these tasks of interpreting gaze. By contrast, an attentional task using the eyes or head as a cue to be ignored in responding to a lateralized target had a similar effect on both groups, and a significant amount of variance in performance speed was accounted for by PIQ. This suggests that not all aspects of gaze reading are anomalous in women with Turner syndrome. If anything, the women with TS were more susceptible or less accurate than controls when attempting to ignore an incongruent gaze cue to a spatial location. They were less able to follow the instructions to ignore the face. Under these conditions, the attentional cueing function of gaze with a plausible origin in joint attention mechanisms that develop in infancy may show a relatively normal pattern of development, and in this respect, sensitivity to gaze may differ between people with autism and women with TS. It is also possible that further tests using different display conditions may yet reveal specific anomalies related to spatial or attentional aspects of gaze processing in Turner syndrome. It should also be noted that we currently know little of the correlational pattern relating gaze for intention or expression and gaze as a social cue in normally developing men and women. Whether gaze processing anomalies in TS may eventually prove to be more extensive, what is clear from the present findings is that they are unlikely to have a basis either in a purely visual processing problem related, for example, to equity for the small visual angles and visual differences that signal direction of gaze in the face, or in the spatial information processing that such signals can cue. I'm surprised no one is asleep yet. Or, if you're still watching, maybe you are asleep, but then you just let this video play. I don't know. Anyways. Difficulties at this level should have generated across-the-board impairments, including insensitivity to the direction of the gaze as an attentional cue. Nor are there difficulties particularly marked in the domain of structural analysis of face images. Our previous studies using matching tasks established that the processing of facial structure and of face parts in women with TS was relatively normal. Unlike other individuals who show deficits in face recognition, such as right hemisphere lesion patient or people with developmental prosopagnosia, women with TS showed normal configural processing of face images. They showed normal susceptibility to facial inversion and better matching of whole face images than part face images. We conclude this paper with neurophysiological and biological speculation on the sources of these anomalies. So the anomalies they were talking about is how TS women, that's much easier to say than Turner girls with Turner syndrome. Turner women, TS women, sorry. So they're saying that TS women are not really good at processing gaze. And these are the anomalies they were talking about. And then at the end there, they talk about how they don't have problems with recognizing faces like prosopagnosics do. Prosopagnosia is that disease where, not disease lah, I don't know, it's not a disease, it's like, I'm not sure what to call it. It's where people, it's usually it's either, it can also be developmental, as in you get it like not because of your so basically sorry, I'm off tangent. So prosopagnosia is when you have kind of what you say damage in the brain, especially in the part where you recognize faces, so you can't exactly recognize faces. Yeah. So, but then I don't remember if prosopagnosis can actually how you say process emotions from faces, since they can't really recognize faces. Maybe they can recognize emotions. I don't know. Anyways, I've gotta search up on that because I don't remember if anyone said that. I really don't. So do you want to hear about why it is from a biology perspective? Hold on. Yeah, it's not too long. I'll just say stuff. Yeah, okay. The anomalies that appear in women with TS are circumscribed. They include significantly impaired recognition of intention from facial displays, reading the mind in the eyes in experiment 1, profound difficulties in recognizing fear in faces, whether from the whole face or the eye region, and poor recognition of familiar and unfamiliar facial images. What neurological structures and processes might underpin this pattern? Circuitry involving medial temporal structures, including the amygdala, orbitofrontal cortex, and superior temporal sulcus, constitute a likely neurological basis for intentional eye reading. This network has been implicated in the perceptual processing of a range of social behaviors, which neuroimaging studies show are preferentially activated by viewing eye region actions, including variations in direction of gazes. Okay, functional imaging studies suggest that the reading the mind in the eye task appears to activate all parts of the circuit, including posterior parts of the superior temporal sulcus at the temporoparietal boundary. Functional in patients with amygdala lesions and developmental pathologies of the amygdala show specific deficits in the identification of fear in faces. Face recognition memory, an ability we have shown elsewhere to be impaired in TS, also relies on the integrity of right lateralized medial temporal circuitry. So these are circuits I haven't learned yet. We barely started on the brain. So what else? Anyways, I'm just gonna read it like I know stuff, but I don't actually know stuff. This includes the amygdala and some inferior frontal regions, as well as lateral temporal regions, which are implicated in person identification and semantic memory for faces. Patients with amygdala lesions and developmental pathologies of the amygdala show specific details in recognition, including face recognition. These findings indicate that the amygdala may play a particularly important role in the pattern of deficits and sparings shown in women with TS. Reading the mind in the eyes, recognizing fear from the face, and face recognition memory all appear to recruit the amygdala, and normal abilities in these domains are thought to depend on the functional integrity of this region. There is preliminary structural imaging evidence that several parts of this circuit we have described are abnormal in women with TS. In particular, the amygdala in women with TS is reliably larger than in control women. Oh, really? But then size doesn't really like dictate how well you are. Just like if you have big brain doesn't mean if you have a large brain doesn't mean you're like super smart, right? Interesting. Why should gaze reading tasks for intention and fear perception implicate the amygdala in particular, and what mechanisms could account for the pattern of performance observed? This part of the medial temporal lobe is implicated in reward contingent learning, where its connectivity with other structures affords it a key role in the cortical processes that control the learning of adaptive behavior, especially the avoidance of threat. An engaged eye display is involved in signals of threat across most species and requires integration with higher cortical processes to be managed flexibly and effectively. However, another well-demonstrated function of some nuclei within the amygdala is to support fast processing of signals of possible threat. That is, the amygdala can function as an early warning system of imminent danger, relatively unaffected by higher cortical processing. A fear display can activate the amygdala without conscious awareness. Under processing conditions that do not require explicit processing of gaze signals, direct gaze activates the amygdala. Under explicit test conditions, however, higher level processes can be engaged and may moderate such effects. For example, deactivation of the amygdala can occur when a fearful facial expression is explicitly labeled as such. Oh shoot, they talk about it in experiment 2. Yeah. Anyway, since women with TS appear to have enlarged amygdalae, which is amygdala with an E, which I guess we have more than one amygdala. Dala, whatever. One possibility is that these structures may be over-responsive to direct gaze and or to displays of fear in faces. Okay. If the amygdala becomes relatively overactivated and this activation cannot be moderated by higher cortical centers, then direct gaze and displays of fear in the face may become aversive stimuli. Such long-term aversion from faces, which we noted as clinical observation in girls with DS, may then lead to relatively weak abilities in processing any images of faces which involve direct gaze. This may impact on face recognition since the eye region is crucial for face discrimination. It must impact on the reading of intention since many items in the RME task require the appraisal of engaged gaze. The marked impairment in perceiving fear may reflect an inability to manage this most aversive display using higher cortical systems. That is, the connectivity between amygdala and higher centers is not optimally functional. General sensitivity to other people's line of sight, which was tapped in the social cueing test, may be spared for such tasks and did not involve direct gaze to any extent. So basically, while TS women have larger amygdala, it causes more activation of like fear response. So when it becomes too activated, when it becomes too activated, so they kind of turn it off because higher cortical centers cannot moderate that. So like you kind of get used to it. So when direct gaze is involved, you can't really like you can't really like you can't you can't really like process that accurately, I guess. Okay, so we're on the last part, implications for understanding karyotypic influences on socio-cognitive skills. So I think this part would talk about how X chromosomes are important, I guess. There is no indication that autism, whose behavioral features can resemble some of those demonstrated in TS, has a single specific genetic marker. Nevertheless, genetic endowment does appear to play a role in autism, with strong family linkage for autistic spectrum disorder and some candidate genes suggested. One recent claim is that autism may represent the male end of the sexually dimorphic socio-cognitive behavioral continuum. I don't understand what that is. This speculation itself suggests a role for X expression in relation to the development of socio-cognitive abilities and possibly to sensitivity to facial, especially eye region actions. However, Turner syndrome may provide stronger evidence for the contribution of X-linked genes to such processes. The behavioral phenotype of women with Turner syndrome largely reflects inadequate dosage of X-linked gene products, which are expressed from both X chromosomes in normal females. Another genetic anomaly, Fragile X syndrome, also has a varied behavioral phenotype. But like women with Turner syndrome, girls and boys with Fragile X show a number of autistic features of behavior, including consistent reports of anomalies in social functioning and in gaze sensitivity. While the gene expression mechanisms and products must differ in the two syndromes, nevertheless, it is highly suggestive that two different genetic anomalies of behavior, each involving reduced expression of X-linked genes, both present with specific deficits related to social functioning and in particular sensitivity to gaze, it would appear that by whatever mechanism, the presence in the karyotype of two complete X chromosomes is particularly protective for the development of normal social cognition, especially in relation to the processing of intentional and expressive displays of the upper parts of the face. So you know when they say like girls are better at emotion stuff, this could actually be the biological evidence needed. Like apparently, when you have two sets of complete X chromosome, you're like better at cognitive stuff, at social stuff, which is why they say girls are more in tune with emotions. Hey, we actually kind of have evidence on that, so that's kind of cool. But that would also like kind of be an evidence, the man saying that men are not good at emotions and stuff. So yeah, anyways, should we go for the next paper? Now that I see it, they have about the same thing. It's about eye tracking and fear recognition deficits. And this one is just like, they say social cueing and intention and emotion stuff, but they talk a lot about fear recognition also. So I mean, I guess this next paper is more like, what was it? It's more like, oh, what is that? Are we still streaming though? I don't know why frames are being skipped. Oh, let me just close some stuff. I don't even open a lot. Like last time I stream while Chrome is open, and like you know how Chrome is, they just kind of eat your RAM. So today I'm using Firefox, but you know, just to oh my gosh. You know, just to like take it easy on the CPU, but I guess frames are still being dropped, but then it doesn't really matter because I don't really have a video playing, it's just my voice. So anyways, I don't know who is watching. Whoever you are that you're watching, thank you for watching. I don't know what you're doing, but thank you for watching, I guess. Anyways, eye tracking and fear recognition deficits in Turner syndrome. I don't want to get too much into it. Maybe I'll just read some introduction. I'll talk about anything that is not, you know, repeated, and then I'll talk about, and then I'll read the conclusion and stuff. Anyways, okay. So, eye tracking and fear recognition deficits in Turner syndrome. So, Turner syndrome is we know that already. A minority have impaired social responsiveness, poor discrimination of facial emotions, and abnormal amygdala-cortical connectivity. We tested the hypothesis that abnormal gaze fixation, especially with the eye region of faces, would be associated with these features in a similar pattern that's seen in subjects with autism. Furthermore, since these features tend to be more striking in TS women whose X chromosome is maternal in origin, we also predicted that there may be a difference within the Turner's group according to parental origin of the single X. But adults with 45 X karyotype and age and IQ match 46 XX women were recruited and tested. Facial fear recognition was significantly worse in 45 X females than controls, but there were no group differences according to parental origin of their single X chromosome. Subsequently, we tested 45X and 46XX women using a remote eye tracking device as they viewed photographs of emotional human faces. Striking differences in scan paths were found between the TS and controls and within the TS group, but not according to parental origin of the X chromosome. These findings provide novel evidence for abnormal face processing in some women with TS and indicate a potential neural mechanism underlying the difficulties in some key aspects of social cognition. Okay, so they keep saying this thing, 45XX and 46XX, and I don't know what that is for the longest of time, but then it just kind of clicks. So 45X karyotype is, I guess, the one, the TS. If 46XX is the normal one. Hold on. How much do we have to have again? 48, right? Hold on. Let's do another Google. I don't wanna. Oh no, there's more frame skipped. I don't understand. Anyway, how much karyotype? Hold on. It's chromosomes, isn't it? Should we have? The normal human karyotypes contain 22 pairs of autosomal chromosomes and 1 pair of sex chromosomes. So normal karyotypes for females is 46XX. Okay. Oh, okay. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah. So we have to have 22 pairs. So 46XX is the normal ones, and 45X is the Turner syndrome. Okay, is the TS. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yep. I mean, did I say the right thing? I think I did. I may not. I don't know. Anyways, so we go to introduction. Turner syndrome is a chromosomal disorder of human females in which all or part of one X chromosome is deleted. It is the most common sex chromosome abnormality found in females, occurring with a prevalence of 1 per 2,500 live births, and is due to errors in gametogenesis, chromosome loss during the early stages of zygotic division, and non-disjunction. About half of all clinically recognized patients show a complete deletion of an X chromosome. Oh wow, with the remainder showing partial deletions and structural abnormalities. Ooh, so if a person has TS, they are more likely to have, they are 50% more likely to have like the X chromosome that's just kind of gone, while the other is either like it's there but it's like just partial, or some kind of sexual abnormality. So the existing whole chromosome may come from either the mother or the father, although the paternal sex chromosome has been shown to be twice as likely to be lost. Reasons for this are currently unknown, although factors such as alcoholism have been investigated. Interesting. I don't drink, so we don't know. Like, it is a factor. It doesn't mean like if you drink while you are pregnant, your baby's gonna have TS. No, this is usually factors. There's still chance. The 45X karyotype is usually associated with more severe phenotypic abnormalities than mosaicism for normal cell line. I think that's zygote stuff. I don't know. The most prevalent physical characteristic is short stature, although smaller number of women are affected by cardiovascular defects such as coarctation and bicuspid aortic valves and renal abnormalities. So this stuff is just about like what Turner syndrome is, what TS women suffers. So Turner syndrome is not associated with mental retardation, but a discrepancy between verbal and performance IQ has been thoroughly documented. While the verbal IQ is essentially normal, performance IQ, the PIQ, is low in about 80% of cases. Oh, really? Huh. Certain visuospatial tasks, such as visual problem solving and puzzle assembly, are especially difficult for a minority. There are associated deficits in executive function, attentional abilities, and nonverbal memory. Although women with TS show no notable increase in significant psychiatric disturbance, social immaturity, troublesome social relationships, and low self-esteem are common. Yeah. In younger girls with TS, these problems are typified by having fewer friends and increased negative interactions with peers. Immaturity and anxiety are significant issues in adolescents with TS. Furthermore, up to 3.75%, that's kind of tiny, of TS females are autistic in accordance with the ICD-10 criteria. This paper is in 2006, if I'm not mistaken. So that's like 13 years ago. Damn. Wow. In comparison with the estimated prevalence of autism at 22 per 10,000 females. However, a minority possess good social skills and many maintain successful social relationships throughout their lives. Psychosocial difficulties may be influenced by the physical differences that many females with DS experience in comparison with their peers with growth delay and subsequent short stature, impaired fertility, and the presence of other physical problems, along with frequent medical checkups and treatments, can contribute to difficulties in feeling at ease in social settings. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, are these psychological problem or... However, some of the psychological problem, and in particular the autistic symptomatology, seen in a minority may result from more fundamental cognitive impairments. So this is where they talk about the cognitive ones, and not just they're only like this because of all the insecurities they have. Is that it could actually be some mental cognitive impairment, just like you see in autistic people. Skuse et al. 1997 proposed that many deficits in social behavior in TS could result from an imprinted X-linked locus. TS patients with the paternally derived X chromosome are significantly better adjusted than TS women with the maternally derived chromosome. Okay. So yeah, okay, so you know how I just knew what they mean by paternal and maternal stuff, so you know how we get the X or XY, the second X or Y from our father. So what they say is that it can either be the one that you got from your mom or the one that you got from your dad that's deleted. I always assume that it's just the second one, which is given by the dad, that's deleted. I'm so sorry. I am a bit biased to the females, so I'm sorry for thinking that. Obviously, female can do wrong stuff too. There were highly significant differences between the... Hold on. I lost my place. Okay. They have superior verbal and higher order executive function skills that mediate social interactions. Interesting. Should probably read Skuse 1997. Okay. An unpublished study of 203 TS females with X monosomy or mosaicism looked at further differences according to parental origin of the X chromosome. 140 women had a maternally derived single X, and the remaining 60... How do you know? Oh, I guess if you... I was just thinking, how do you know if it's the maternal one or paternal one that's being deleted? But I guess you can when you laid out the chromosomes, I guess. I remember learning how to read those in biology classes when I was still in high school. But if you give it to me now, I don't know if I can. But okay. Anyways, so There were highly significant differences between the groups in terms of their ability to interpret other people's emotional state, to be aware of other people's feelings, to understand other people's body language, to realize when others were upset or angry by parental report. Differences in social cognition between 45XM M is maternally derived, and 45XP paternally derived females are mirrored in sexually dimorphic characteristics of 46 males and females from the general population. This suggests first that an imprinted X-linked gene could account for some sexually dimorphic characteristics associated with social cognitive competence in normal males and females. Second, that a paternally derived X chromosome could protect normal females from development of the full autistic behavioral phenotype, to which they may be predisposed by other genetic influences. Sorry, I just thought of something that's like not what I should yeah, okay, anyway, so yeah, next time when I do this, I'll actually show you guys what I'm reading. I can do that via desktop capture. Yeah, so I'm sorry you guys, I'll do that next time. If I can't do it this time because I'm almost done. Anyways, okay. Okay, so this suggests first that an imprinted X-linked gene could account for some sexually dimorphic characteristics associated with social cognitive competence in normal males and females. Second, that a paternally derived X chromosome could protect normal females from development of the full autistic behavioral phenotype, to which they may be predisposed by other genetic influences. Yes, so this basically like saying how the X chromosome in females, that's like if you have two complete set of X chromosomes, could definitely protect you from autism. Like not like from having autism, at least biologically. I don't know if you can get it developmentally. I don't know. Like, I don't know. There's a lot about autism that I still don't know, even though I feel like I know stuff. I mean, I know stuff, but you can never know like everything about it, right? I'm kind of tired. I've been staring for almost an hour. Damn. Like, in real life, I can't concentrate for this long. I have to listen to my own voice reading stuff to get me interested for some reason. Like, it's not even like a good voice, right? Like, I don't know why. Maybe it's just like the egocentricity. I've always wondered, like, about theory of mind is a developmental thing where children learn that the world does not revolve around them, so like they become less egocentric and they kind of learn to put themselves in other people's shoes, something like that. You can read about false belief test, that's very popular, and then the policeman doll task. I don't remember the name, the exact name. There's policeman doll task, you can search for it, where they see if children are able to like not be egocentric, right? So I was thinking like that task to not be egocentric kind of like relates to how you are able to kind of empathize, or at least think about things in social perspective. And I was thinking, like, does autism kid pass the theory of mind tests? I feel like I've seen statistics on that, but I'm not sure. Anyways, the next part, they talk about fear recognition differences in the amygdala, and it's like really long. And as you can probably tell from how I'm drawling, I don't know. I don't know the word. My words, I am tired, and I've read a lot already. Sure, I didn't read all the papers. I should. Oh my god, I have to like read all the papers. There's so much papers to read. I like reading, but like I don't know, my attention my attention span has decreased very significantly over the past years, because especially when you were in a course that that doesn't really have a lot of reading and a lot more doing. I was in computer science for 4 years before this. So before computer science, I was an avid reader. Like, I would read stuff even if it's boring. Like, I actually, like, I could get through half of a book before I decide, or I even finished a book once and then decide that it was boring. So, like, but now I read like one thing, even if it's like really interesting. I just can't stay focused anymore. It's horrible. And that's like a developmental thing, right? I mean, like, if you learn about Piaget, which is basically the founding father of cognitive developmental psychology, his theory would kind of stop once you reach like 12 years and up. Like, at that point, you've already kind of paused. No lah, like your cognitive development is kind of slowed down a bit, which is probably true in relation to like the people's growth chart, you know. But like, you're obviously always learning. You're always, you know, changing your brain structure or whatever depending on what you've gone through, what you've experienced, right? So do you think adults can get ADHD? And I don't know. Oh, by the way, I did say this in my research project. Yeah, I'm not gonna read anymore, just so you know, because I'm kind of tired. Like, I usually can read if I don't read it out loud, but I can't focus anymore unless I listen to my voice. But my mouth can't how you say, like, catch up to my reading enough to like keep me interested. So, man, I have not good attention problems, you know. It's not good. It's not good at all. Just saying. Anyways, okay. So, was I about to say something? I kind of forgot. I forgot. Okay, yeah. So, I forgot. Anyways, I know, like, I'm live streaming at a time where my friends and family in Malaysia, I'm currently in UK studying psychology, cannot like actively participate or anything, and it's not really something that they want to, you know, they want to like know yeah, about anyways. So yeah, like right now it's about 10:30 in UK, but in Malaysia would be about 4 a.m. So like I don't expect anyone to watch, and like, who would want to watch 1 hour of me just talking about stuff? Anyways, I need to go to the toilet pretty soon. I don't know why I have to say that, and so I'm gonna have to stop here. I'll come back because, as you can see from the number in the thumbnail, it is only the first part. So my meeting is in Tuesday, so I'll come back with a lot more of this. Okay, so that's all from me, you guys. Thanks for watching. 4, 3, 2, oh, sorry, 1. Okay, now it's 1 minute and 1 hour and 4 minutes. And I can end this live stream. Thank you guys so much for listening. Bye.